that at the moment people don't want to hear that sort of criticism. They want people to rally round the flag and support the military.
I think that's right. And I think that the reason for that is that, yeah, they don't want to hear it because, boy, there's going to be a lot of agonizing reappraisal, as they say, what reality is in this country and the world right now. If popular opinion in this country has to be swung over to the White House is wrong, these people are corporate thieves, they've turned the American dream into a chamber of looting. Yeah, it's going to take a lot of adjustment mentally.
At the moment, even in Australia, the media is preparing for the first anniversary of the attacks in a couple of weeks from now. Can you give me a sense of what's happening in the United States? How is the American media preparing to sort of commemorate the first anniversary of the September 11th attack?
You would never believe it. It's so insane. I mean, it's a frantic publicity. Every day on television, the president's on TV at least once a day. And celebrations of the dead, the patriots, exposés on Al-Qaeda. It's just relentless. It's like 25 hours a day of just how tragic it was and how patriotic it was, and how much we have to get back at these dirty little swine. And I wouldn't be at all surprised for, I mean, as hideous and dumb as it sounds, an invasion of Iraq on September 11th. Yeah, I'll go out and take a long shot bet on that.
That you think that the occasion might actually be used as a way of using that popular fervour or that popular patriotism as an appropriate date to launch an invasion?
Well, it seems like that to me, because that's their only power base, really, is that frenzy of patriotism. And if a revenge strike, Uncle Sam gets even, if that's going to work at all, there'd be no time it would work better when everybody in the country is cranked up into emotional frenzies. I found myself getting a little teary-eyed last night watching some CNN special. Anita was crying. Yeah, I mean, this reminds me exactly of the month after the attack, when it was just drum roll after another. And yeah, but there is some opposition now, popping up in this country. A lot of it, high-level opposition.
Look, I'd like to come to the opposition in just a moment, but just on your arguments about what would seem to be the manipulation by the media of popular sentiment. At the moment, what do you think the leading media outlets should be doing? Because obviously there is deep feeling within the American community about the attack and the aftermath of the attack, which it would seem to me that the media is obviously going to pick up on. But how do they represent that feeling without manipulating it for some other less noble purpose?
Well, the way that grief has been manipulated here and turned into a platform for revenge on who? Osama bin Laden? I wrote on the day after that thing occurred that he was probably dead. And it was published. I read a column for ESPN.com and Sports Thing. And, to just assume that when first it was Osama bin Laden and then it was Saddam Hussein, it may be that the secret police and the great intelligence operations of America are so much smarter than we are and know so much more than we are and are so much more responsible and effective than we are. That's possible, I suppose. I don't think it's not possible to me, but in theory. But in fact, all these agencies have been embarrassed, have been proven to be buffoons and liars. Was it some FBI agent that lost 700 guns in 2 years? No, these agencies are riddled with corruption, and it's an unwillingness to challenge the word of authority. That is, you'd think, or the old myth, as the myth goes, an un-American way to lean back and be a sheep and act like a good German. And it's this unwillingness to question authority that I believe is at the root of this over here.
So you would see, Hunter S. Thompson, that in recent years there's been a failure to challenge authority. So the media is actually buying the government line far too readily. And
no, there's not. There haven't been much challenging of authority for quite a while. And this president here, this little bastard, is just a creature of his father, and the Reagan brain trust. And a lot of those people came out of Nixon. This is really like the rebirth of Richard Nixon, or Nixon lives. But these people make Nixon look like a liberal.
That you would argue that George Bush Jr. makes Richard Nixon seem like a liberal, which is a startling admission from you because of the caustic way that you've previously described Richard Nixon.
Yeah, that shocked me when I said it, but yeah, I'll stick with that. In terms of just a programmatic, mean, greedy, tunnel-visioned looter, these people make Nixon look like a statesman.
Now, Nixon, of course, was brought undone by the actions of two members of the press, Bernstein and Woodward, who doggedly pursued him, even though initially it wasn't apparent that trail would bear fruit. Is there a new generation of that type of investigative journalism in the United States, and is this the moment that it should come forward?
Oh boy, I've been looking for the rise of that generation for a long time. You know, Nixon was always convinced that there was a massive liberal conspiracy to get him. Well, he was right. Yeah, and I was part of that, and I'm proud of it.
Now, is that so-called massive liberal conspiracy, is that emerging now in the debate around the potential invasion of Iraq or the conduct of the Bush administration at the moment?
No, these Jesus freaks have managed to give the word liberal so bad a name that in this nation now it's really a matter of shame to adopt the word liberal. See, I've never been a liberal. I've denounced the bastards for years. But liberal is, no, there's no groundswell of liberal sentiment driving this questioning of what the administration's doing. Now, these people want to go into attack the heart of the Arab world, the Muslim world, with no allies except England and Israel.
And possibly Australia.
Oh, my God. Don't tell me you goddamn papist bastards or that bad off. I thought you were freedom-loving warriors.
Well, what's going on here, as we record this interview in Australia, there is actually a debate about the degree to which the government has made clear whether it would support a first strike policy by the United States government. And the call in Australia is for a much fuller debate, both at a parliamentary level and in the media, about what the Australian government should do. But the Prime Minister of Australia has reserved his judgment, but he's made it clear that his government is very keen to support the US if called upon.
Well, now that's horrible. Well, I guess that's right. You people voted that you were all subjects of the Queen, didn't you?
We voted to not become a republic. That's right.
No, you reaffirmed the power of the monarchy, as I remember, over you.
That's right. Look, it's a digression, but that's right. But just on that, I mean, one of the things that the media in Australia is really trying to take up, I suppose, is to draw from the government some clearer position. You know, will Australia support the US? What are the implications of the US striking preemptively against Iraq? I'm very interested in your assessment of that debate in the States. I mean, are there particular areas where criticism is coming from?
Let me first say that's a very important that you guys get a statement, a clear statement out of the government. And the longer they won't give you one, the more ominous it's going to sound, right? It will be. I mean, if they won't tell you they won't support the United States in the event of a first strike, what would you guess their position is going to be?
Look, in Australia, Hunter, there's been a policy of bipartisanship, a history of bipartisanship, and that's the other thing that's up for grabs at the moment, it would seem. Whether the Labor Party opposition to the Conservative federal government is going to sort of strengthen its opposition to any Australian involvement, or whether it's going to go ahead and support the government as it has done in previous military campaigns. That's a major issue, but it's an issue being played out in the press. What I'm interested in, I suppose, is your assessment of how that's being played out or not being played out in your own press.
Well, we're getting a lot of encouragement, say, from Germany, France, the entire Arab world. I mean, nobody's really in favor of this. I don't know who, but if you want to name some people, who else really wants Saddam Hussein so desperately out of power? I look around, I don't see anybody else waving that